Hello and welcome to the Experiment Lab by Stop Now, the daily show with JK. I'm JK, your host for this daily show, and I'm joined by Amar. Welcome, Amar, and happy Friday.
Yeah, right.
All right. So we have added one more person to our team, and
Yeah.
he is going to join us as well. Right on time, he joined. All right. So let's ask him. Iftikhar, how are you today?
Hello,
Yes, Iftikhar.
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. I just started the show and welcomed everyone. Welcomed our audience. And I was mentioning you right on time. You jumped on the call.
Is there anybody else and anyone else to join?
No, just us.
Okay.
So we will be growing,
Okay.
right? Maybe others will join in course of time. But
Okay.
let me ask you this, right? Since you are going to be part of this experiment and also part of the show as well, so why don't you come up on give company to Amar, or do you still have some hesitation like to come on camera?
Yeah, I think it's better I'll be off the camera and we'll talk on the show.
Okay, so then we will give you a mask, right? Probably he plays the hero, so we will give him the Spider-Man mask. So that way, like Amar, I have a company, but you don't have. So you need to find your own partner.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's move on and joke apart. Again, as we mentioned, this is for the audience as well. Like every day, like we just do this between 11 to 11:30, and the experiment is like to talk with the recruiters and explain on how this process happens, and also share some of the insights on what we are doing in our experiment, and more are coming that is exclusively for the members only. So now our channel has become a member based channel, so member only content will be published, and it will be more exciting and more thrilling expose will be there in that. So do subscribe and like us, join us. That is what I'm going to say at the end before I wrap up the show. But let's talk today, right? So we have been getting back-to-back call in different profiles. I'll play out like some of the voicemails that has been left, and probably we will talk to one of the recruiters today and have a little more fun.
I have called regarding our IT project manager position. We already discussed all the things on email. I have shared you the RTR. Please revert me back on that email so that I will be able to submit your profile to the client. Thank you.
All right, so they have been calling back to back on to us on this. So that's been revealed. Again, in terms of, how do I say that? Let me share that, right? So this is something like, what we have been discussing for quite some time and how this industry operates, right? So this is for one of the profile, like they just get to confirm the rate even before scheduling an interview for different position that you are applying for, and you can clearly see that like here they are asking us like to represent the person, the account manager from the GVD system as the employer. Okay, they are not our employer, but still they want us like to represent as an employer and then talk to the recruiters. So let's start with this question, right? So in terms of violations or considering this to be some kind of a misrepresentation, right? Again, Iftikhar, what is your take on this? Do you think like this is the right way to do business or no? Or no comments?
Ritika, can you hear us? I think Ritika has disconnected.
Yes, you can go ahead, Amar, right? You can give your opinion.
Oh, yeah, sure. Before that, I want to share one good news. Do you remember that?
Oh, I mean, you
Am I
were,
audible? Am I audible?
yes, now you are.
Okay. Well, that is actually, I heard the question, but while I was answering, probably you could not hear me. So, yes, if you talk about the from legal prospects, obviously it's not legal, but people compromise at this point because of earning, in terms of earning, career, people compromise with that because from job prospects or earning prospects, this is a way uh, the people find the way for earnings, and people in United States mostly from other countries, they come to earn, and it's not easy for them to get a job easily there without taking any help from recruiters. So in that prospects or in that conditions, they compromise with a lot of things. Please correct me if I am wrong.
Again, right? So it's not just about one person or randomly that is being done, right? So I just showed one example, right? And also the other person, right? Other companies also doing the same thing, right?
Right.
Represent me as a, right? Represent RG Talent as your employer. So it's not just one person who's doing, and we will say like, okay, they are being compromised and just to get on top or get a lead from what you're doing in the business. Everybody is doing it, and that is being allowed by these billion-dollar companies, right? So because they are the one who's engaging with a contract with these companies, so it's not that like they don't know, they know, right? They avoid it, as you said, right? Legally they don't want like to get into trouble, so they are asking these smaller companies and asking others to take that risk, and probably you are right. So we spoke to one other recruiter yesterday as well, right? So he literally had a debate with us saying that like, yes, it's not illegal, what is wrong in that? Like, I am doing my job. So basically they just have been provided a script or a template saying that like, okay, you have to represent us as an employer, then only we'll be able to get you the job. So there is nothing wrong, right? So I'm not saying this is right or wrong. Forget about legal thing. I don't care about legal. again, if we don't care about legal, right? So we have to talk about business ethics, not even go to the morality of it, right? What a person wants to do in his life. Those, I'm not targeting these individuals, right? They are, again, at the same time, nobody is innocent, right? I don't want like to absolve myself or anybody else, like saying that, oh, I don't know this, or okay, come on. While driving in the road, you have a traffic sign and you have a speed limit. And if you drive fast or if you jump the red light, you don't know that like it's your fault or it's wrong. The problem with our society, right, with every individual, right, every people, they will just come up with an excuse saying that, oh, I had an emergency, or so what, right? Nobody was there, so everybody does this, and other person is also doing that. So those kind of excuses alone makes us to commit these kind of crimes. Again, crime looks like a harsh word, right? So people will feel very offended when we say like you are a criminal. The minute I say, right, to Iftikhar, right, to you or to Amar, saying that you guys are criminals, what will be your reaction?
Obviously, at what point of view you're saying the criminal?
Yes.
What's wrong I have done?
Yeah. So to defend yourself, right, you will ask like, what wrong did I do, right? And whatever, right? If you are doing this recruiter job and you are doing this, and I say that like this is wrong and this is fraud and you are a criminal, the word itself, criminal itself, has a different meaning and connotation in our society, right? So it is like he's a very bad person and that person has to be in jail. So in that connotation, we will feel very apprehensive to even respond to someone who is going to attack us in that term. But if you look at it like in a lighter tone, right, just imagine, right, all these people know that, right? You cannot ask someone to represent you, right, as a I'm just trying to lighten the moment, right? Because it's a Friday, we'll have some fun and laughter, right? Again, I don't know much, but still, right? We all are married, right? Again, some of you at least, right? So if you are not married and if you ask someone like to say like, okay, just represent me as your husband or wife, so how it will sound? So that will be very silly, right? People will get offended on that. Similarly, right, why can't you even think that like he is not our employee, right? How can you ask someone like when you are not employing him in your company, asking him to represent you as an employer? So this is like basic common sense. You don't have to have any knowledge. Even if your company is asking you to do this, right? Just because your company is paying and they are asking you to do some illegal thing and fraud, you can question. You can question them. Again, if you question, you might be fired. So people will be scared, like, and they don't care. The essence is, I don't care. I don't care about anything in the world except for myself. That is the root cause of all these problems, right? So with this, it's a simple statement, right? It is not going to create any ripple effect. It's not going to affect anybody else, right? Just by saying that, like, okay, they are my employer, what is going to happen? Nothing is going to happen unless you get an interview, you get selected, you are onboarded on the project, and you are working and earning. Then all these things make sense. Because a simple example, right? With one of our teammates' profile, we have been working on 3 different projects, and all the companies, TCS represents him as an employee to the client, but he is not TCS employee. So $1 billion company can commit this crime and get away with it. What is wrong with individual getting away with it? Do you guys get my point? Like, So what is your comment on that?
Come again. I could not get this question properly. Come again, please. What is
No,
your question?
the question is, so when billion-dollar companies can do this, right? So like, for
Mhm.
example, we are working in a couple of projects in different banks through different vendors, right? So through TCS, through Infosys, through Cognizant, through LTI, various companies represent us as an employee to their client, to the bank, saying that like he is my employee and I'm
Correct.
employing him on the project. But that's not
Correct.
right. The billion-dollar company is lying. They are doing fraud, and they're
Correct.
getting away with it. Right? Legally, they are getting away with it.
Correct.
So
Yeah,
when they
it's
are
all
allowed
for
to do it, why not the individual person, right? Some innocent recruiter or somebody else, right? Even the candidate who's doing the. So this is what, like, it's a old saying, right? If you do a pickpocket, right, a small time thief, you get caught and you go to jail. But if you do fraud in millions and you are rich, you get away with it.
Yeah, this fraudulency is being taking place in a large scale. They are showing to the client that the person they are hiring through some other channel, that he is the employee of their organization, but as a matter of fact he is not an employee. He, from third person or from third party, he recruiting that person and showing to the client that he is their employee, right? Getting my point? For example, TCS I'm talking about. If they have taken a process from Bank of America, Citibank, or any big organization. Am I audible to you?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
Okay. So in that case, what TCS is showing that they have recruited a person, or they have a person who will be handling this part, wherein the person doesn't belongs to TCS organization. They'll recruit that person from third party organization or individually for contractual basis. And the earnings, the differential amount, whatever they are paying to that person to whomsoever they have hired, and they are taking the money from the client, the differential amount will be kept along with them. The second benefit what they are doing is that if they hire a person for that organization that will be a full-fledged employee, they'll have to pay not for a hour basis, for an entire month, or till the time that person stay with this organization.
Yes. So no, I mean, I'm going yes and no here. Like, this is going fun, right? The conversation here is like, again, are we right or wrong in our approach? That is what, like, my question is, right? So just because others are doing fraud and crime, we can also do it. That's my question. Amar, what is your take on that?
Yeah, I think as we are doing, like, it's a experiment, it's not wrong or it's not illegal. So you have the permission to do this experiment because you are a registered company, you are a stock foundation, and a stock organization that is working against human trafficking, racism, and so many things you are working with. So I think that's point is for this experiment, it's not illegal. We are on the right way. And but who are doing this, making a group and uh, sending profile and grabbing this job for one person, they're handling 3 or many projects, many project at a time. That is illegal, I think. But as we are doing this for experiment, I think it's legal. Am I right?
In my point
Ethical
of
for
view, in my point of view, I'll think it in a different way. If I talk about individually, I am getting the job or I am getting an work through a recruiter. So I know the recruiter through which I have been getting this job. From individual point of view, if I think about it, I am not doing anything wrong because I am doing what they are looking from me. But if you look at the picture as a whole picture, somewhere in the part they are doing the illegal things. If you talk the whole picture, but if you talk about individual picture as a me, as a you, as a person who has been selected for that process, individual, if you talk about it, no, he is not.
Well, again, we can revisit this over and over, right? So that is what this experiment about, right? Okay, right on time. We are getting a call. Let me answer that. Hello.
Hello, Nathaniel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nathaniel. I was just confirming your number because over the resume I don't have your number and in the details also. So I just got you back. I'm just going to forward your resume to my manager.
All right.
Okay, if I need anything else, I'll call you back.
All right. Take care.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So the voicemail just now I played, right? So she doesn't know any number of person takes the call. They don't care, right? Again, if this is something like you said, like as a recruiter, as an individual, it is not my responsibility to clean every other mess in the company in which I work, right? And you don't have to have that knowledge, or even you don't have the power, basically, right? So if you are an employee, you have a designation, you have a role and responsibility, and you can only do that. And obviously, if you question certain things, which pisses your boss, or it is kind of what the management doesn't look at you as you are doing the right thing, they will fire you. So as such, as an individual, we cannot do much. Not everyone
Correct.
will have that energy or willingness like to fight against corruption or fraud. It will happen right under your nose. And like Amar said, right? So I'm not going to justify, right? Our Stop Now Foundation, our mission is different. Okay, what we are doing, the purpose for which we are doing is different. Like how we all have a different purpose in our lives, right? Whether it has a meaning or meaningless, the same way, right? It's just a job for them, right? If somebody finds fault, they will move on, right? They will say like, okay, I'll quit, I'll go and do something else. But they have to have that awareness, right? They are doing something wrong and this is not the right way to do. And that I find it difficult for any individual to understand from the standpoint of how they are being trained. It's not even there. Nobody is like brainwashed here. Everybody knows that, right? Just like how we talked about, like in terms of human trafficking, how people migrate here, like on a valid legal visa, and they get trapped, right? When you are in a different country, right, coming with so much of hope and dream, and you have no legal protection or no safety, and you basically don't know what to do, and you will be under the guidance of your company and your colleagues, employees, boss, whoever sponsored. So you have to listen to them. You have no other way. If you even question anything, they'll throw you out, and then you have to, your life will be thrown out of control, right? So if you have debt, you have loans, you have traveled to a different country with so much expectation, in few weeks or in few months, if things goes wrong, what will you do, right? So obviously people can easily say, right, you have to go back to your country. It's that easy for anyone to say. But then how do we secure these conversations, right? So that we are having it here, but then people who are not willing to share those things, some may be willing to share it. Yeah, they might be daredevils like us, and they want like to put it out there and share it to others, but still they don't know how to do it. So that's why like we are providing and creating a platform here. So those who want like to join us, those who want to experiment and explore or expose based on even victims' experience, right? So some of them like will come forward and they will talk to us privately. They can share those information. On the public domain, like they may not be interested, right? A simple example is like this whole project experiment came out of one of the victim, and I have to mention that like he volunteered and he gave his consent, just like how Nate and even Shiva gave their profile saying that like, okay, let's fight it out. Let's show the world how this is being done and why it cannot be stopped and why it has to be stopped as well, right? Why it has to be stopped. Iftikhar, what if?
It has to be, I mean, is this the questions that you need the answer why it is to be stopped, or you are or you want to know if it is recorded stop or not?
No, you tell me, like if it is stopped, what will happen, and is it possible to stop?
There are two factors. If if it stop, there are a lot of benefits will be there. But if you talk about from long prospects, if it stops, the person who is looking for a job, or if they are hiring a person for third party, obviously the job vacancy will the primary organization, they will reopen their job vacancies rather approaching the third person. So for example, if I am looking for my name is, for example, my name is X and I'm looking for a job. If I am getting selected through third person for that organization, then I'll be for a contractual basis for 6 months or for 1 year. But if this process is being stopped for a while, let's consider the situation. The benefit is that if I'm looking for a job, I'll directly approach to the primary organization and I'll be a direct employee of that primary organization. So in that case, there will not be any contractual basis. It would be very difficult for them to fire me without any reason. So if you talk about long prospect, yes, this process should be stopped. That is my point of view.
Yes, you are right again, right? So we have that wishful thinking, right? So it is not that easy for big corporates like to hire someone and then fire them like without giving reason, valid reason. That's what we think of, but that's not the case. Even if they hire as a full-time employee, they do that. They just fire people back and front, right? Without given reason, right? Even mass layoffs are happening. We have come across all these scenarios, stories, right? 900 people, thousands of people over Zoom call, like the CEO fires them. All that happens. In spite of those things, right? This contract world is existent for various other reasons that we cannot comprehend or go deep into it. Just like some people say that like there is a deep state and all those things, unless we show proof. And just like our experiment, like clearly we demonstrated that these billion-dollar companies are using this loophole and contractual thing to basically allow people to do crime. It's like that simple, right? We just a small group, right? Even with 1 or 2 people, we set up some profile and set up a company and reach out to these companies through these recruiters, through these big networks. We are able to get multiple projects in a short span of time. How is it possible, right? So the problem is, yes, it has to be, certainly it has to be stopped. The reason is more deserving candidates and people who are not aware of these mechanism, right? These processes, they'll be left blind, just like going by the normal standard, believing that like I'll graduate and I'll try to apply to these companies and get a job. And they will hit a roadblock. They will keep applying and they will not get job. And they will find fault with the society. What is wrong with me, right? Why I'm not getting a job? I'm talented, I'm hardworking, I'm interested to try it out anything, but I don't know how to. Because unless you have this experience and exposure that through these crooked manner, you will be easily getting a job and you will be climbing up the ladder. Somebody is hand holding you, right? Somebody is clearing interview for you. Somebody is like opening the door for you and waiting for you. Again, why do they do that? They take commissions and they exploit you to the maximum. So certainly that's why like I am against this, and it has to be stopped, and it can be stopped only from top down. Bottom up approach will not work in this case. Only people who are rich and affluent and have the power in the top of these billion-dollar companies have to come down and make strong decisions to stop these processes. Otherwise, it's not going to stop. You and me, we will be shouting on the rooftop, trying to get attention, do all that gimmicks, but nothing is going to be there. It will be the daily show. It will be a daily soap drama kind of thing. We will continue to do this for years together without any
So
solution.
don't you think that are not they aware of it, that this is happening at the ground level?
I would say like some of them may be negligent, some may not, they might have overlooked, they may not be completely aware of what exactly happening, but some or many of them, right? They also came from the ground up, right? They also at some point were graduates, some point they were looking for, and they might have heard stories, but still they are busy and stuck in their own world, right? And my assumption, right, this is purely based on my assumption, right? If, right, again, I'm going to call you if. So if you have so many other problems in your life and much bigger fraud or crime that is happening, and you are aware of those things, you will be focused on those things, right? You will not be
Right.
worrying about these smaller problems. For them,
Okay.
it might look like a smaller problem, right? That is my assumption. That is the reason, like they just don't care, or they don't have the time. So busy they are, like they just care, like, okay, fine, I will focus on mine. Like someone down the line, like will have to take care of those things. I cannot be held responsible. That is how like they do this, passing the buck to others and not being accountable. All right, that is something like we have to wrap up now. So
Okay.
we will continue this in the next week. We will try to make it like more interesting and fun, and we'll play some game. Truth or dare.
Right. Is there?
Bye for now.
All right. Bye bye.